Hello, everybody. My name's Elwood, and welcome to Passion for Film, a place where I basically just yap about films that I like. And today's film is Playdate. Now, at the time of this video being published, this is a brand new film. It came out just earlier this week, I believe, like maybe like 5 days ago, maybe, I think, which is something I actually didn't know when I first watched it. It was just a film my family put on, which I ended up liking way more than I thought I would. Just from watching the first scene, I thought, oh no, it's going to be some modern woke film about a kid that's like not into sports, finding that he doesn't need to fit in with everyone else and he can just focus on his real passion or something like that. But the more I watched, the better it got, and I realized I was actually in for a very fun watch. The main man in this film, being Kevin James, is someone who's known mostly for his work with Adam Sandler or perhaps Paul Blart Mall Cop, which is another very funny film. But he's not someone who I've seen in many recent films, so it was quite nice to see him in something recent. In fact, I think this was my first time seeing him with a bald head. So there you go. Not sure how long he's had it like that, though. A couple years, maybe. But there you go. Probably one of the main reasons I liked this film so much was because it blended two of my favorite genres. In fact, maybe my two favorite genres, action and comedy. When a film gets this combo right, you know it's going to be a good one. And I think they nailed the balance between the what you call it, like funny suburban dad stuff and like the over the top action. The perfect mix of cool and funny. And I feel like I've seen a similar film that takes a clueless regular person and throws them in a chaotic situation like this film does. But, I just can't for the life of me remember what it was. I thought maybe it would pop into my head while I was recording this, but but it hasn't. Anyway, the characters in this film are perfectly contrasted, which is something that all great comedies have. You can make a situation a million times funnier just by having contrasting characters. For example, think about how much less entertaining or interesting it would be if both of the main characters were regular dads like Brian, or if they were both super jacked ex-military men like Jeff. Think about films like Inside Out. Each character is completely different, and that's what makes the story work. That's what makes the interactions between them so much more interesting. Imagine if they were all what are the characters? Imagine if they were all joy, or or even if they were all sadness. That would make for a very depressing film, wouldn't it? It wouldn't be the same at all. Some of the funniest bits in the film come from when Jeff is doing something crazy and having loads of fun, and then you just see Brian's reaction and he's super like scared or concerned. Like when they're in the car, like being chased, and he's Jeff's having a whale of a time, but Brian's Brian's quite the opposite. In fact, I find Jeff's character quite interesting as it's unlike anything I've seen before. Normally, the buff action hero character's weakness is that they're like too cocky or they're really dumb or something like that. But this character has a completely different weakness. In the film, they actually say that he was perfect in every way apart from the fact that he was too empathetic or too emotional, something like that. I just found that really interesting as it made for a much more likable character, I feel. I just want to say something unrelated real quick. I understand these videos aren't super short and snappy like the others you've seen, so I appreciate everybody who's still watching up to this point. So, if you want, there's always a chance to subscribe and a like, and I'm not forcing you, but there you go. Anyway, now, Playdate may just be the funniest film to come out this year. Let me know if you agree with that statement or not, but basically, I watched the film for like the first 20 minutes or so, but I was busy doing some other work, so I went back to my room. However, I could hear the rest of my family just laughing so hard that I actually decided to come back and watch the rest, and I'm glad I did. The comedy in this film is awesome. It's also like very kind of physical, and I love that. The part when he's fighting the guy in the Bucky cheese, is that what it's called? I think so. I mean, If that's funny on its own, Bucky Cheese. Bucky Cheese. But yeah, he's fighting he's fighting some guy, and all of the mascots backstage are like getting hit and stuff. Like when the fox, or what is it? There's like a fox and a guy dressed up as like a big, a drink or something. I don't know, but yeah, it's a very funny scene. That's great. Or when they're in the car and what shit's going down, and he's just sort of dancing to the music. Oh, what song is it? What song is it? I can't remember. Oh yeah, this is the rhythm of the night. Na, na. I think that's the song they're dancing to. Amazing song choice. But yeah, that was funny. He's just having a little bit of a groove to the music while all of the chaos is going on around them. Probably the funniest part of that scene actually is when Isla Fish's character ends up like tasering herself. That had us all in hysterics, man. It reminded me of the scene in Home Alone 2 when the guy, I think it's Marv, I think his name's Marv, is getting electrocuted, and he just screams. He's like, oh, 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 ah. Yeah, that's I said that to my family, and they all agreed. It was kind of like that scene, which is like one of my favorite scenes from that film. So it was definitely good. Or even the parts when he just goes to high five CJ, and CJ just punches him in the gut. That's great. In fact, saying CJ just then reminded me of something else that was great. When Jeff is telling Brian, Brian's asking like, what does CJ stand for? And he's telling him that CJ, he just looks around and sees the peanut butter on, what is it? Is it peanut butter? The brand Jif? I think it was. He just sees the peanut butter, and he's like, Christopher Jif. Christopher Jif. What the hell kind of name is that? Christopher Jif. Anyway, as well as having some hilarious moments, there are also moments that perfectly contrast the comedy and look super cool, like some of the action scenes. Alan Richson, who plays Jeff, is the perfect guy for this role. Not only was he delivering the laughs, he also looks cool as hell. Not only from the action, but also just him as a person. He's literally an absolute specimen of a human. Talking of cool stuff, how about that scene at the end when they blow up the entire building behind them and they have like that slow mo walk? Oh my gosh, that was so fun. In fact, the whole film is so fun. It's just an all round fun film. Some of my favorite fun parts are when they're dancing together, like when Jeff and his clone are dancing together and they're doing it at the exact same time. And even after the film, when the credits is like cut to, what would you call it, like a video style scene, music video style scene. I don't know. And man, don't forget those bloopers. It must have been like years. It must have been years since I've watched a film with a blooper reel at the end. We need more films like that. I just really enjoyed seeing them. It makes you feel like you're more connected to them, I guess. Even though you've never met them, you just find yourself laughing at some of the bloopers as though you were there with them when it happened. Similar to what I was talking about in my Happy Gilmore 2 video. Go watch that off in the corner there. It's just a fun film that you just kind of, well, it's such a fun film that you just kind of forgive and forget any of the bad parts. That's definitely to be said about that one. Actually, the only part that I was sort of slightly disappointed by was when I saw Alan Tudyk. Tud? Now, I don't know if I'm pronouncing that correctly. Alan Tudyk. That's kind of how it's spelt. Tudyk. 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 Oh, it might be Tudyk. Alan Alan. Anyway, when when I saw Alan, I got super excited as I know how funny he can be. I love his role in Transformers: Dark of the Moon. But when it came to his scenes, I feel like they didn't utilize him as much as they could have from a comedy point of view. That being said, I still, of course, really enjoy Playdate, which is actually kind of the opposite to what most of the reviews are saying. I was looking at some of the stuff and I see that it has an 18% on Rotten Tomatoes. Wow, those guys probably need to cheer up a bit. Anyway, that's all for today's episode. I hope you enjoyed the film just as much as I did. Let me know your thoughts on Playdate in the comment section. Make sure to like and subscribe and all of that good stuff. And yeah, make sure to definitely subscribe because, I mean, just look at this stat 99.9% of you aren't subscribed. How does that even happen? How does that happen? I do not know. So, yes, I definitely need it. Please click that button. I'm not begging, but it would just help. It would just help. Maybe if we could take that stat down to 99.8, maybe 99.7 would be nice. Anyway, thanks for watching, everyone, and I will see you in the next one. Bye bye now.